I'd now like to talk about how we're going to keep progress moving forward at a pace, how we're going to solve issues as they come up as fast as possible, how we're going to seize any new opportunities, either immediately or in the future, how we're going to increase team focus and accountability, and how we're going to put out any fires if they occur, and how we're also going to be able to praise, encourage, and recognize achievement as the quarter progresses. And the mechanism we have found that is best for this is a structured, mandatory team meeting. There are two forms of update that keeps everything moving forward in goal setting. One is called the check-in, which is done by individuals alone in a system like Zockery, where they update their progress, their confidence level going forward. How do I feel about this key result? Is it still likely we're going to make sufficient progress? And that's very qualitative. And are there any things that we would like to recognize as things that happen as good? Or are there any issues that we should be made aware of, or what support is needed to support the continuing process of that goal? So that could be happening on a mobile phone, on a desktop, on a Friday. It's just a rhythm we go through where we're just getting information to flow about the progress of a goal, even if the update is no change. What should follow, and often happens on a Monday, but it doesn't have to happen on a Monday, is a structured agenda meeting for either the team or cross-functional team. And this agenda looks like this. We look at our KPI scorecard. How are we doing? Are there any things going right? And obviously, the opposite can be true. Things might not be tracking as well as we hope. We should be aware of the scorecard that's keeping score for our team or cross-functional team. How are our OKRs doing? How are the activities that are supporting those OKRs doing? Are we making progress? What are the issues that we need to solve for, and do we need to escalate any of those issues because they are stopping us making progress? And you might spend a particularly disproportionately big part of that meeting deep diving on one of those escalated issues and solving for it. And are there any opportunities that anyone's come up with, or had any inspired ideas in the last week that have come up that we should share and collect and document, potentially in software like Zockery? And what are our priorities for the week ahead? What do we want to commit to on a Monday as a priority that would allow us to continue to make progress? We want this agenda that follows those kind of core building blocks to be so routine, so rhythmic, so expected that we don't really think about it. We know this meeting's going to happen. We know we're going to discuss that. We know we're going to move through these agenda points, and we're going to come out the other end efficiently, and we're going to come out the other end knowing what the week ahead is going to look like and where we need to focus our attention. And we know that on a Monday we're going to talk about it again, and that creates a bit of discipline in our week as well, because this meeting isn't going away. We're always going to be accountable for the things we said we were going to do, the issues we said we're going to solve for, the updates that we said we would give people. And we're also able to get the support we need along the way. And it reduces our level of distraction too, because I'm human as well as hopefully you are too. We are biased towards doing the things that we like to do and potentially don't need to do. So by having a level of visible and very public accountability, and by having this process in, we're more likely to be rational. All of that feeds into achievement. One of the parts of the Zockery software is to streamline this process. We have full meeting management functionality where you can set this agenda up and it requires no preparation time because it's there on your screen in slides. It's synced into diaries and calendars, and you can just go next page, next page, next page. You can capture actions that can be followed through to the next meeting, ensuring they get done. So accountability for the actions we say we're going to do can be followed through, and we can send meeting notes around. You don't have to use the software, as I always say, but we're there to make these core performance-based processes as easy as possible. We don't want to create jobs for people. We want this to be enjoyable, and we want it to be productive. And ultimately, we're trying to increase productivity. You know, that is the atom we're playing with here. How do we make the most out of every hour that everyone's got, of every week, of every month, of every quarter? And how do we drive that into the most productive places possible? And how do we make work enjoyable? How do we make the kind of being part of your company and your culture enjoyable? And having these rituals and routines and this way of working that reduces frustration, that improves performance and allows people to learn and develop and participate and share ideas openly and freely is part of what we're trying to do here. So although this might not be a meeting that some teams want, it might not be a meeting that they sometimes think they need, they might even be resistant to another meeting, it needs to be mandatory. And my response to people who think it's another meeting is, if you get this right, you need way fewer meetings in the week because you're able to work with more autonomy. And people are not worried so much about control and visibility of what you're doing because you know this meeting's coming up. And actually you can log into software and see how the team are doing. You can always see progress. You don't need to be controlling when you're in control.